yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
On a chilly evening in the Bronx, an old rivalry is renewed. Welcome to New York Yankees baseball, presented by Kia. And tonight, it's the New York Yankees against the Boston Red Sox in the middle game of a three-game set from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball, along with David Cohn. I'm Michael Kay. Well, opening day didn't work out the way the Yankees wanted to. They lost that game 8-2. They'll try to bounce back tonight. What they have to do is take care of the top of the order against the Red Sox. At least that was the problem, David, in that first game.
Well, it really was. And if you think about it, a lot of this damage happened with 2 outs. Sabathia tried to get that fastball in on Shane Victorino, didn't get it there. Here comes Jackie Bradley, 2 RBIs follow. All the damage with 2 outs. A good opening day for Shane Victorino.
And it wasn't just Victorino who was 2 for 6 with 3 ribbies, David. Pedroia was 2 for 6. Ellsbury was 3 for 6 with a triple, also 2 ribbies and a run scored. So how do they handle that? Let's look at the pitching matchup. The Yankees will send Hiroki Kuroda out on the mound. 16-11, 3.32 last year. Clay Buchholz goes for the Red Sox. He struggled last year, 11-8, a high ERA. Now you look at Kuroda, David, 16 wins, but he might have been the Yankees' best starter last year.
Well, I think he was. He was the most durable starter. He took the ball every 5 days. And talk about proving yourself. Coming from the National League West, got to pitch in the Bronx, no problem. He loves pitching at Yankee Stadium. He was very consistent, very durable, and finished with a flurry right through the postseason.
Well, the Yankees hope that continues today on this Wednesday evening in New York City. When we come back, we'll even delve further into what Kuroda did here in the Bronx. He kept the ball in the park. That's the important thing. That's coming up next, right here on Yes. Tonight's cold hard fact brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. The starter for the Yankees is Hiroki Kuroda, and he had a good season at Yankee Stadium. Tied for first in the major leagues with 11 wins at the stadium. And the bottom line, if you look at those numbers, David, he is a guy who pitches well here because he keeps the ball on the ground.
Yeah, that's what really shoots out at me is that when you keep the ball on the ground in Yankee Stadium and all the talk about him coming from the West and Dodger Stadium coming to Yankee Stadium, would he give up a lot of home runs? Well, you get the ball on the ground, you keep the ball in the ballpark, and he did that much better. I think his rate was almost half at home as opposed to on the road. So he gave up less home runs, he got more double plays, kept the ball on the ground, much better than anybody thought he was going to perform here in the Bronx.
Well, the ball should not be traveling that well tonight because of the cold weather, but the fact that he keeps it on the ground, that bodes well for the Yankees and not that great for the Red Sox. When we come back, lineups, first pitch, baseball coming up next right here on Yes. yourself a sports fan, you've got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. Well, both teams had a day off yesterday. They opened on Monday. The Red Sox with an 8-2 victory. The Yankees had their welcome home dinner after that. Big cheers from a welcoming crowd, and now they are ready to get into the bulk of the season, starting with Game 2 and Yankees and the Red Sox. So what we learned about that Yankee team, David, I think what we're going to see a lot of, this team's going to have to create runs, and they got to get runs with scoring, hit with runners in scoring position. They didn't do that on Monday.
It is. You know, it's going to be very challenging for Joe Girardi, the manager, to create ways to score runs, to turn some guys loose, steal some bases, take some chances. Almost play kind of like Mike Scioscia and the Anaheim Angels play out in L.A. Go first to third, take more chances on the bases, try to get some runs any way you can.
And it's going to be a stark change from the Yankee teams that Joe has managed since he took over in 2008. Each one of those Yankee teams had a lot of home run hitters on it. A lot of the Yankee home run hitters are on the disabled list right now. Till they come back, you are going to have to do things a little bit differently. So we'll see what the Yankees do today against Clay Buchholz. Yankees take the field, and we'll take a look now at the Red Sox starting lineup that Hiroki Kuroda is going to face. A little bit different now against the right-hander. Jacoby Ellsbury still leads off. He's in center field. Daniel Nava is the DH. He'll bat second. Batting third, playing second base, Dustin Pedroia. Mike Napoli at first base. He'll clean up. Batting fifth and catching, Jared Saltalamacchia. Will Middlebrooks, the third baseman, will bat sixth. Batting seventh, playing right field, drop down in the order now, Shane Victorino. Jackie Bradley Jr., the rookie, he's in left field, he'll bat eighth. And batting ninth and playing shortstop is Jose Iglesias.
And here's a look at Hiroki Kuroda, back in the Bronx again this year on a one-year deal. Last year, excellent numbers, 33 starts, took the ball every 5 days, nice record, nice ERA, 51 walks, he's a strike thrower, 167 strikeouts. Let's check out the Tri-Honda's pitcher scouting report. And even Steven, he comes in with a career record of 57 and 57, at least here in the States. Did very well in Japan, obviously, as a professional pitcher there. But I don't think the record tells the whole story. You know, there's a lot more that goes into how a pitcher pitches than a one-loss record. You know, Michael, I'm a fan of sabermetrics, and you can get a little deeper into that, but this guy's better than 57 and 57. And true quality starts, this proves the point. Last year, he had 14 starts of at least 7 innings pitched or 2 earned runs or less. To me, that's a true quality start, not 6 and 3. That was 4th in the American League. The guy who led the American League, Felix Hernandez, who had 20 of those type of starts. And talk about Bronx tested. Can he pitch in New York? Can he pitch, in Yankee Stadium? You bet he can. He was 11-6 with a 2.72 ERA last year in 19 games started, including 2-0 against the Red Sox with a 1.96 ERA.
Let's check out the defense behind Kuroda, and he uses his defense just to get some ground balls. In the infield, Kevin Youkilis started at first on opening day, moves to third now with the right-hander on the mound. Nunez is at short, Cano at second, and Lyle Overbay gets his first Yankee start. He'll be the first baseman. In the outfield, that's the same. Wells, Gardner, and Ichiro, left to right. Chris Stewart will get the start today. Francisco Cervelli drove in the only 2 runs on Monday. He started Monday. Stewart starts behind the plate today, and Hiroki Kuroda is on the mound. It's chilly. Well, let's look at the game time weather presented by Bigelow Tea. Let's see the numbers that go along with chilly. 41 degrees at game time, so once the sun completely goes down, it's going to get colder. 26 degrees. Wind is 17 miles per hour, mostly clear and cool. Bundled up against the elements on a Wednesday here at Yankee Stadium. Jacoby Ellsbury will dig in. He had a good opening day, which we detailed. He had 3 hits against the Yankee pitchers. Ellsbury's ready. Kuroda is ready. And let's do it here in the Bronx. First pitch is a strike. We're underway. Alfonso Marquez is the home plate umpire. A little hoodie underneath the cap, keeping his ears warm. Boy, if you ever really need proof, and David just detailed it on the scouting report, 57 and 57 for a guy who is an outstanding pitcher, has really good stuff, and is tough on the mound, so he's not giving up wins. His teams haven't scored for him both in L.A. and last year with the Yankees didn't give him that much offensive support either.
You know, it really has been true throughout his whole career, you know, and I'm an ex-pitcher, so it's easy to cry about run support, you know, but I really do believe that there's a lot more that goes into how you evaluate a pitcher than one loss record. And Hiroki Kuroda is a case in point.
Popped up. There's Nunez, and he'll make the play on the outfield grass for the first out. A lot of pitchers don't love the long sleeves because they feel bulked up on the mound. Some guys will go out there on a cold day like this and not have those long sleeves, but Kuroda is deciding to take precautions against the cold.
Yeah, the fabrics they're wearing nowadays, you know, the microfiber and the moisture wicking fabrics are so much better than the old wool sleeves that we used to wear.
Here's Daniel Nava. There's a strike. Did you bundle up in cold weather, or did you go without?
No, I always did. I wanted to have my arm covered, you know, especially later in my career. I wanted to make sure that, you know, you could stay hot, stay loose. A lot of times you see pitchers that come out without sleeves on. It's almost psychological, you know. You're sending a message, and some guys will have, you know, Bengay or something hot, some sort of hot stuff on their arm, too, to help.
The 0-1. 1-1.
You know, the key for a pitcher is you know, once you get your arm loose in cold weather, you should be okay. But the problem comes with feeling the ball, being able to put spin on the ball, the fingertip pressure that you need to be able to control the baseball and spin it.
Cold weather, is there a pitch that you really get robbed of because of cold weather?
I think sometimes it can be when you try to manufacture spin on the ball. If you're, you know, curveball or slider, or you know, usually the tight spin type pitches are hard to do in cold weather because you've really got to get the ball out on the tip of your fingertips and spin it hard and snap your wrist.
2-1. So spotting a fastball is probably your best bet?
Probably the best bet because you can, you know, your fastball, your wrist position is consistent, and the fastball is more true in terms of flight. But if you're trying to make the ball move and, you know, put spin on the ball, it can be difficult with really cold, windy conditions.
3-1 to Nava. Scooped the other way and threw for a base hit past Youkilis and past Nunez. So a one-out single for Daniel Nava.
Well, it's okay if you sting your hands if you get a hit out of it, because you can tell that's off the end of the bat. And that doesn't feel good in cold weather either. But as long as it gets through, you shake your hands and you take the knock. And that barely gets through. Not sure if he broke his bat or not, but I guarantee you that did not feel good on the hands.
Here's Dustin Pedroia. And a strike. Pedroia had another good year last year. Former MVP in the American League. Despite a 69-win season for the Red Sox, he still did what he had to do. The 0-1. 1-1. 6 hits and 14 at-bats against Kuroda. Now, the Red Sox playing a little shorthanded as well. No David Ortiz, and he's going to start a rehab assignment probably next week, and they hope to get him back by the 3rd week of April. He's got an Achilles problem, and Stephen Drew, who's supposed to be their starting shortstop, has a concussion, and he could be back by the home opener for the Red Sox. So he's going to start tomorrow getting in some hacks in spring training games or rehab games. That brings us to our injury report, brought to you by Montefiore Medical Center, Inspired Medicine. There's David Ortiz, the inflammation in the heels, and Stephen Drew is on the 7-day DL with a concussion. Punched out, right side, a base hit, seeing eye, blooper. Moving to second is Nava, and Pedroia picks up a single.
Well, once again, doesn't sound too hard coming off the bat. Down towards the label, and the sound coming off the bat had a kind of a hollow sound, but Pedroia's got such great hand-eye coordination. He's able to serve it into right field for another base hit. Sounded very hollow. Once again, stinging hands, base hit, fair trade-off.
There's Mike Napoli. Numbers last year with Texas, signed as a free agent with the Red Sox. He was 0 for 5 on opening day. Pitch outside.
You got the feeling that the Red Sox were targeting Napoli for a while. They really thought he was a good fit, especially after they cleared the decks with that big trade last year. And Napoli was one of their targets in the offseason.
There's a strike. He can hit the ball out, and that's what the Red Sox want. 24 home runs last year, 30 the year before. Before that, he was with the Angels, 26 and 20, and he didn't stay with the Angels as Mike Scioscia didn't like his defense. But he can always hit.
Yeah, the Red Sox envision that power translating to Fenway Park in bigger numbers.
1-2.
20 years ago, they probably would have signed Napoli and not given him a physical. He would have had a 3-year deal. Nowadays, you go through a battery of tests before they sign you to a long-term deal, and that sort of hurt Napoli this offseason, as the deal almost didn't get done because of his hip condition.
1-2. High fly ball center field. Gardner makes the catch. Tagging is Nava. He'll go to third. Throw comes to second, holding Pedroia at first. So 2 outs. And here is Saltalamacchia.
.24 of those 25 home runs were batting left-handed last year too. So this is his strong side.
Count 0-1.
The beauty of Kuroda, just a strike-throwing machine. That's why he's been so efficient his entire career. Held opponents to 2 walks or less in 27 of his starts last year.
Trying to work out of an early jam. Missed outside, 2-1.
Very close. You could almost hear the umpire say down as somebody from the Yankee dugout was questioning that pitch. Alfonso Marquez behind home plate tonight.
There's a base hit to right center field. Scoring is Nava. Pedroia will go to third. Saltalamacchia with the 2-out RBI single, and the Red Sox are on the board. They lead 1-0.
See Saltalamacchia's plate coverage. This ball's away. He's able to go out and hook it. Hits it hard. Big, strong, long swing. A lot of topspin. Once again, big 2-out RBI. The Red Sox, the first 2 games, coming through in the clutch.
Here's a third baseman, Will Middlebrooks. And the pitch high. So with 1 out, a single by Nava, a single by Pedroia, both bloopers, but they found a hole. Napoli with a fly ball to center, and then Saltalamacchia with a big 2-out hit, putting the Red Sox on the board. Off speed, swung on the miss. In on the hands, fouled away. And the count is 1-2.
It was really the first inning runs that hurt Kuroda last year at the beginning of the season when he got off to a little bit of a slow start, starting his career with the Yankees. In his last 19 starts, he didn't allow a first inning run. Or at least in 17 of his final 19 starts, he did not. But tonight he allows a first inning run, and he allowed 12 in his first 7 starts last year.
1-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. So he works out of further trouble. 1 run on 3 hits. 2 men left. Red Sox 1 and the New York Yankees coming back. Starting lineup, which is presented by Lexus. Brett Gardner in center field will lead off, batting second and playing right field, Ichiro Suzuki. Robinson Cano, the second baseman, hits third. Cleaning up, third baseman Kevin Youkilis. Travis Hafner will DH, will bat fifth. Batting sixth, playing left field, Vernon Wells. Lyle Overbay at first base, will bat seventh. Batting eighth, playing shortstop, Eduardo Nunez. And Chris Stewart will catch, and he's going to bat ninth.
So look at Clay Buchholz, who's right at the top of the rotation behind John Lester. Will pitch second in the rotation. He had 29 starts last year, 11-8. A little over 4.5 ERA, not so great. 64 and 129 walks to strikeouts. Let's check out the Honda pitcher's scouting report, and he's coming off a great spring. He only gave up 2 earned runs in 22 innings with 22 strikeouts. So he's trying to push that reset button because his last 8 starts last year in 2012, he was 0-5. And then Yankee Panky, well, in 9 career games against the Yankees, he's got a 7.19 ERA, and he's looking to turn that around tonight.
Brett Gardner will dig in to start things off for the Yanks. Middlebrooks in on the grass at third, guarding against the bunt. And he gets the bunt down the third base line. Barehanded by Middlebrooks, fires to first. Beautiful play by the Red Sox third baseman. That was a pretty good bunt. So 1 down.
Well, indeed it was. You see how far in Middlebrooks is. Right down the line, Gardner goes, keeps it in the grass, and Middlebrooks all over it. It's the only way Middlebrooks can play this is barehanded, all in one motion. Boy, that's quick. Scott Brocious-like from back in the day.
Here's a Mercedes-Benz Yes-Mo. Caught it cleanly. Fired across his body. And a strong throw to Napoli. The pitch to Ichiro is high.
Love the attempt from Gardner, though. Love that addition to his game. Took a great play to get him.
Count 2-1. Gene Monahan in the Yankee dugout, turning back the clock.
Yeah.
Check swing. Ted Barrett said he went around.
Get a side view here. Looks like the bat head enters the strike zone and almost in front of the plate, although Ichiro does a good job of bailing and trying to disguise it.
Missed outside. Buchholz did not finish last season well. He was 0-5 with a 5.62 ERA in his last 8 starts. Everything went wrong for the Red Sox last year. So as David said, trying to hit that reset button. And Ichiro works a walk. Took 2 close pitches. Let's check out the defense behind Clay Buchholz. Jackie Bradley Jr. is in left. Jacoby Ellsbury in center, and Shane Victorino over in right. Infield, it's Middlebrooks, Iglesias, Pedroia, and Napoli third to first. Saltalamacchia behind the plate, and Buchholz is on the mound. So here is Robinson Cano. Robinson made a lot of news during the off day, hiring Jay-Z as his agent. And he was asked today, what do you like about Jay-Z? And he said, everything. And that is Jay-Z's first sports client. He's going to become an agent. Well, he's now, I guess, an agent.
Oh, yeah, he's partnering with CAA, creative artists, who have handled several other players, too. Robbie rolling down the West Side Highway now. So him and Jay-Z.
And what made that news even bigger is that Robinson decided to get rid of one of the most high-powered agents in sports, and Scott Boras, who he had signed with in February of 2011. So I don't know if the whole story is yet to be written, but it certainly made news yesterday.
We haven't heard the last of this one, that's for sure. And it certainly was curious in the timing of everything.
Snap throw, and Ichiro just got back.
Ichiro's got an inkling to go. As you see, he kind of got caught flat-footed and almost spun out. And you see Napoli a little too quick. Tried to make the tag before he had the ball.
An extreme shift for Cano. We saw a lot of this, or some of this, toward the end of last year, David. And I've always seen Cano as a guy who goes foul line to foul line. Most of the left side of the infield is open for Robinson Cano here. Got 3 infielders on the right side.
You know, they obviously they have their reasons. You know, Boston had talked about it all spring and really worked on these sorts of shifts all spring long. It's been no secret. think the key here is bringing Middlebrooks off of third all the way over in the hole, as opposed to shifting. Pedroia is right here. Instead of shifting Pedroia, you brought Middlebrook all the way over here.
They're playing Cano like they played Travis Hafner and the way they played Mark Teixeira. That one is served into left center field. Long run for Ellsbury and Bradley makes the catch. And hustling back to first is Ichiro. So he gave it a ride the other way in the air. But there was too much air underneath it as Bradley ran it down. Here's Kevin Youkilis, second straight game for the Yankees. He is batting cleanup, and he becomes only the second player in the history of baseball to bat cleanup for the Yankees and for the Red Sox. It's Kevin Youkilis and Babe Ruth. And there's a strike.
It is remarkable. I mean, we've talked about Babe Ruth twice in this series. John Lester is just the third lefty in Red Sox history to start 3 consecutive opening days, and Babe Ruth was one of those guys to start 3 consecutive opening days for the Red Sox. And now Kevin Youkilis on the batting side.
Paying a lot of attention to Ichiro. Kevin Millar's at the game. One of the former Red Sox idiots, self-proclaimed, that won a World Series. Now he works for the MLB Network. And a strike. Somehow we're in the bottom of the first inning, and Youkilis has a big patch of grass stuck to his helmet.
It's the old George Brett style, a little pine tar on the bill. George Brett had pine tar everywhere, as we remember. The bat, his helmet.
The 0-2. Foul the other way. Opening day, Youkilis was 1 for 4, had a double, scored one of the Yankees' 2 runs. Hit the double just inside third. Line drive, base hit. So Suzuki advances to second, and Youkilis, here's the Ute chant.
Well, Kevin Youkilis was probably the Yankees' best hitter in spring training, and it continues on an 0-2 pitch. Buchholz doesn't get it where he wants to. 0-2 curveball right there. Youkilis knows what to do with that. Reach out and hook it. Yank it into left field. Keep the inning going.
That's going to bring up Travis Hafner. Hafner pinch hit on opening day in the 6th inning, popped up to short and singled to right. See what he did last year with the Indians, and the only question with Hafner is not whether he can hit, it's whether he can stay on the field because of injuries. And he's going to DH for the Yankees against right-handed starters. And stayed so far away from the field in spring training, it was as if he was allergic. He does not want to put a glove on, except for a batting glove. High fly ball right field. Victorino will make the play, and that will do it. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 2 men left on base. We go to the second, 1-0 Sox. Brought to you in part by American Airlines. The new American is arriving. By Tri Honda. Hurry to your local Tri Honda dealer for great deals on the new 2013 Accord. And by Blimpie, America's sub shop. Now, we talked earlier about the Yankees having to get hits with runners in scoring position. They fail in the first inning. They're down 1-0. And we go to the second. Shane Victorino takes a strike inside. So the Red Sox get the 2-out hit. The Yankees don't, as Hafner just missed and hit one sky high to right field. Count 1-1.
Yeah, it was a good swing by Hafner, and he did just miss that.
Victorino admitted something that a lot of players don't admit. You see what he did last year with the Phillies and the Dodgers. He said, knowing that I was a free agent distracted me. That one is up the middle and through for a base hit. And it might have just missed Kuroda's bare hand. It might have gotten it too. And now the Yankees will go out and take a look.
Well, this is, you tell, why would you do that? Well, it's just instinct. You're just protecting yourself, and it definitely got a piece of his hand. We'll get a better look here.
Yep.
Tried to get his head out of the way first, and then the hand ends up catching a piece of it. And I tell you what, that's chuck and duck. I've been there. That's a scary feeling when that ball comes right back at your coconut. And it does just nick probably the fingertips on his pointer, which is really important to throw a baseball. Those first two fingers are what you use.
And you know, people sitting at home watching right now go, why would he do that? And really, it's just reaction. You know not to do it, but it's just reaction.
Just pure instinct at that point. I mean, you just can't, it's not a play you can work on in spring training. Let's have a coach fire fun goes back at your head. It's just something that, you know, occasionally it happens. Not a lot to pitchers, but when it comes back head high, boy, you are just in such a defensive position. You throw it in there about 90 miles an hour. It comes off that bat well over 100 miles an hour. And you're less than 60 feet away.
So he takes a couple of tosses. He's going to stay in. And that's a hold your breath moment for the Yankees. They can ill afford to lose Hiroki Kuroda. Here's Jackie Bradley Jr. 3 walks in his first big league game, and also an RBI groundout. As a youngster, doesn't seem as if he was unnerved by his first big league game at all. You see what he did in spring training. He hit his way onto this team. They did not plan to have him come north with the Red Sox. He had never played above Double-A. Always had a good eye at South Carolina, and he's taken that into spring training and the first couple of games of the season. Count 1-1. Looking down at third base coach Brian Butterfield, see if anything is on.
Major league debut, his first at bat. That was a big walk in the middle of the inning that really hurt Sabathia, where he ended up giving up 4 runs. And then, of course, this play over the shoulder. Talk about saving runs.
That hits Bradley. So he will take first. Red Sox first and second, nobody out.
Very unusual for Kuroda to sort of hang on to a pitch this long off the back knee of Jackie Bradley Jr. Kuroda with excellent control. That'll slow him down. Jackie Bradley Jr. just really comes into Red Sox Nation is creating a lot of excitement, not only with his on-base percentage ability, but his wheels too. Good speed.
Here's Iglesias. Yankees expecting a bunt, had the wheel play on with Nunez running toward third, and Youkilis was going to charge from third.
Yeah, you see as Nunez broke a little quickly and kind of tipped the hand of the Yankee defense. Brian Butterfield gives another series of signs.
And Iglesias fouls it off. Iglesias had a good opening day with 3 hits. Here he tries to advance the runners with a bunt, but fouls it off.
See Nunez breaking and then stopping. Now the wheel play is designed for the shortstop to cover third base on this play. So if it's bunted to Youkilis at third, he can wheel and throw to Nunez for a force at third. Problem is you've got some speed on the bases, and Victorino runs well, so it's very difficult to put a wheel play on and execute it with speed on second base.
Overbay in at first, and Youkilis at third. Fouled off. Very strange what the Yankees are doing defensively, because Youkilis isn't charging.
Yeah, it looks like a fake. Looks like Nunez is faking the wheel play and then stopping halfway. As you'll see, Nunez is faking and breaking like he's going to third and then stopping. So it's definitely sort of a deke.
And that would mean the only way you'd get the runner at third is for Kuroda to get off the mound quickly and field the ball and fire to Youkilis.
And Youkilis could get back to the bag, but you know it's going to be very difficult to cut Victorino down with his speed.
Now let's see if John Farrell, the Red Sox manager, lifts the bump with 2 strikes. Bunt is off. Grounded slowly in front of the plate. They get the force at third. So the Yankees get what they wanted, and the Red Sox don't.
A full swing. Ball goes about 3 feet. Perfectly played by Stewart. Right in front of you. Youkilis right there. Easy play. The only question is if there's time to get a double, and there's not.
Red Sox still have good speed on the bases with Bradley at second and Iglesias at first, and that's going to bring up Ellsbury, leadoff batter for the Red Sox. He popped up to short to open the game. Count 1-0.
Sort of a cat and mouse game with Nunez covering the bag, holding Jackie Bradley now with the left-hander up, and Cano playing off the bag. Jackie Bradley with speed. You got to kind of watch him. See, Robinson Cano is going to play over in the hole, and Nunez's responsibility is just to stay close enough to disallow Bradley from getting a big jump, because Overbay at first is playing behind as well. So Iglesias is keying off of Bradley, and it could easily be a double steal if you didn't keep Bradley honest.
3 3-0 on Ellsbury.
The Yankees keeping a close eye on Kuroda to make sure his finger's all right, as his control looks to be a little bit off since he was nicked by that line drive.
And he walks Ellsbury on 4 pitches to load the bases. So that's unusual for him to hit a batter and walk a batter in a game, let alone in 1 inning. MLB.TV is celebrating 11 years. Join the millions of fans and subscribe today. Watch every out-of-market game live online on your favorite mobile and connected devices in HD quality with MLB.TV Premium. Visit MLB.TV today. MLB.TV, baseball everywhere. That is a great thing if you're a baseball fan. See every single game on your iPad, on your iPhone, any kind of handheld device. Good stuff. All right, bases loaded, and here is Nava.
Great way to watch Yu Darvish in the 9th inning with a perfect game on the line.
And a strike to Nava.
Boy, he was just filthy, Michael. The stuff that Yu Darvish was throwing into the 9th inning with a perfect game. 1 out away.
Last pitcher to come within 1 out of a perfect game and not getting it, Armando Galarraga, and he didn't get it because of a bad call at first base. And there Nava gets plunked, and a run will score, and you really have to wonder about Hiroki Kuroda, as Larry Rothschild will go out to the mound.
See, now the Kuroda's pitch count elevated up to 41-2, and you can you have to be concerned right now. He's a tough guy, but something's got to give here. I mean, you can't take a 100-mile-an-hour fastball off your fingertip on a cold night and not let it impact you. And he's certainly showing signs of having trouble feeling the ball right now.
And you could tell right away, Rothschild waved out Girardi, and they're also going to bring out the interpreter, which is a new rule that you can bring an interpreter out to the mound. Don Mattingly did it the other day with the Dodgers. Yankees are doing it right here to know exactly what Kuroda is saying.
It's a situation here where, you know, you almost have to take the matter in your own hands, and he does. Girardi does. It doesn't really matter what Kuroda says. Your eyes tell you the story. 2 hit batters and a 4-pitch walk tells you just about what you need to know, and he's done.
Well, the Yankees have to go to the bullpen now, and they've got to get a lot of outs out of that bullpen. They're down 2-0. We'll be back. Prius is the official hybrid of the Yankees. Go to yankees.com/Prius to enter for your chance to win the Yankees Prius plug-in. Well, here's today's conversation. The question was, do you think the American League East is baseball's toughest division? Why or why not? One of our responses came from Matthew Maloney 1. Just look at the lineups of the AL East teams and you'll have your answer. Everyone is stacked. I'm not so sure it's about the lineups. I just think it's about the entire team. Some teams in the East have great pitching. Some have great bullpens. Some have pretty good hitting. I just think that they're all very, very evenly matched. As the Yankees will turn to Cody Epley. Follow Yes Network and tweet us your responses using hashtag Yankees Prius to keep the conversation going.
Well, it is remarkable because all 5 teams in the American League East all legitimately think that they have a shot at the playoffs, either winning the division or sneaking into a wild card spot or being in the position to make postseason.
Well, the Yankees have to make the call to the bullpen, brought to you by AT&T, and they go to Epley, who pitched 59 games last year, but he struggled in spring training, and he's only going to give you 1 or 2 innings. So the Yankees are going to have to piece this together out of the bullpen. And David, you don't want to think of worst case scenarios because the Yankees have been so besieged by injuries. But Hiroki Kuroda is very important to the entire conversation.
Well, without a doubt. I mean, he's a guy that you just thought was going to be a rock right behind Sabathia, pitching second, and with Pettit following him up. And you really have to have some concern right now. And we'll wait to see what the report is, and the injury report coming out of the clubhouse. But it was a serious scalding line drive that Victorino hit right above his head. Looked to catch him in the fingertips, probably on his pointer finger, which is so important for a pitcher. Fingertip pressure, especially on a cold night. Very difficult to throw a baseball after that happened to him.
Well, the way the Yankee pitching plays out after this, it's Pettit, Nova, and then Phelps, and then Sabathia again on Sunday. Here's the injury. Victorino right up the middle, and almost in self-defense, Kuroda throws his hand up, and it just nicks the top of the hand. And then 2 hit batters and a walk in 1 inning. That's not Kuroda, who usually has pinpoint control, so the Yankees have seen enough. And Adam Warren also warming, as they probably just want Epley to get out of this inning. Now Phil Hughes of the Yankees is going to pitch 1 more game for Scranton Wilkes-Barre. That'll be on Saturday. And he pitched the other day in a rehab assignment. He said he felt great. The back is no longer an issue, just building up arm strength. He said the ball came out of his hand very well. So the Yankees have a qualified starter ready to go. But again, it's hard to replace Kuroda. We don't want to get that far ahead of ourselves. We'll see exactly what's up, but we know he's been knocked out of this game. Injury, pitcher has as much time as he needs, so Epley can take what he needs. And it also gives us a chance to tell you about Yankees Access. Later tonight, don't miss it. The show that gives fans a behind-the-scenes look at the Yanks. Join Jack Curry as he pays a visit to the newest Yankee, Kevin Youkilis, at his home in California. Yankees Access, Kevin Youkilis, tonight after the postgame, only on Yes. Well, as Epley has been warming up, the Yankees, because it's a cold night, they went back to the dugout. Now they're coming out. Youkilis and Overbay are the only 2 Yankee fielders out there. And Epley inherits bases loaded with just 1 out and a 2-0 Yankee deficit. So here comes Nunez and Cano. And the Yankee outfielders are out in the bullpen, and they're out there as well. So we're almost ready to roll as Epley takes over against Dustin Pedroia. It's weird because he's taking more time warming up on the mound than he does warming up in the bullpen.
You know, Epley, notoriously, I mean, a guy, that's a sidewinding guy. You can get him up in a hurry and get him into a game, but he's taking full advantage of taking his time and getting enough warm-up pitches in.
Now, we mentioned Epley pitched a lot last year, and he has struggled in spring training. Clay Rapata, who also pitched a lot last year, was actually released by the Yankees today. Hey, in 2015, One World Observatory will open at One World Trade Center in New York City. which is going to be the tallest skyscraper in North America. Legends Hospitality, which is a company owned by the Yankees and the Dallas Cowboys, will operate the facility. And on Tuesday, members of the Yankees and Cowboys families were part of an event in which plans for the observatory were unveiled. We get our first view from the new World Trade Center. So here is Dustin Pedroia as Epley is warmed up on a cold night. Pedroia with a single to right field off of Corona. Iglesias at third, Ellsbury at second, and Nava is at first. Count 0-1. Pedroia and Cano, the only two second basemen in the American League to have double-digit home runs in each of the last 5 seasons. Not really known as a power position. There's a strike, 0-2. Way outside. Let's compare those two. Gold Gloves are even at 2 apiece. They've each won a championship. Pedroia, the American League MVP in 08, and Cano, the WBC MVP this year.
Well, it's hard to believe that both of those guys have been around 8 and 9 years already.
Grounded up the middle. Nunez steps on second for one. Over to first, a double play. So Epley came in and got just what he needed. A 6-6-3 double play. Red Sox get a run. They knock out Corona. We go to the bottom of the second. 2-0 Sox. Marketplace of the Yankees and Yankees.com. Yankees Ticket Exchange is a safe, secure, convenient, and affordable place for fans to buy and resell tickets. Visit Yankees.com/ticket exchange today to buy and resell your tickets. Now we go to the bottom of the second inning. And Vernon Wells will lead off against Clay Buchholz. 77 games last year for the Angels. 230, 11 home runs, 29 runs batted in. Had a very good spring training with LA before the Yankees made a deal to acquire him. And the way the Yankees look at it, he'll play left field till Granderson can come back. And then if he is hitting, he'll play a lot of DH.
Yeah, I talked to Vernon a little bit during batting practice today, and boy, he just seems so excited to be here. I mean, all indications are is that he's finally healthy again. That's why the Yankees are taking a chance and bringing him in.
Line drive, base hit. So Vernon Wells picks up a single, and he picks up his first Yankee base hit.
Just hanging in there. Vernon Wells always been a really good fastball hitter and can really turn on just about anybody's fastball. The Yankees are gambling, and once again, that he is finally healthy. It was injuries that sort of derailed his career.
Here's Lyle Overbay. He was with the Red Sox for most of spring training. They released him. Yankees had 3 days to see if they liked what they saw. And they did, and they kept Overbay and ended up releasing Juan Rivera. 65 games with the Diamondbacks and the Braves, a .259 hitter, and he's an outstanding defender at first. Overbay is right. He's a doubles machine, and he's a type of hitter that can go foul line to foul line, use the gap a lot.
He gets a lot of deep counts. Been a high on base percentage his entire career, type of hitter.
Hit sharply to short. There's one, and there's two. He hit it very hard, but right at Iglesias.
Well, he did. Right on the button did he hit it. The only question is if Iglesias can stay down and stay with it, and he does. He goes down to his knees, and the flip to Pedroia, and then the easy turn.
Here's Eduardo Nunez. And there's a strike. Nunez batted second in the opening day lineup against the left-hander, but drops to 8th here against the righty Buchholz. Popped up. Pedroia called off by Victorino, who makes the play, and that'll do it. No runs a hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. We're going to go to the third. Boston 2, New York nothing. DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you've got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. When we go to the third inning, it'll be 4, 5, and 6 in the Red Sox order. On the Lincoln scoreboard, it's 2-0 Red Sox. Napoli, Saltalamacchia, and Middlebrooks against Cody Epley. Epley got a ground ball double play off the bat of Dustin Pedroia to work out of a bases loaded 1-out jam in the second. Took over for Kuroda. We're still waiting word on what the deal is. He looked like he took a line drive just off the tip of a finger on his pitching hand. Stayed in the game but didn't have command. Hit 2 batters, walked one. Walked one with the, or hit one with the bases loaded. That's when the Yankees knew something was not right. It's odd, though, because they came out after he was hit, and he obviously said he was fine. Broken back, ground ball to second, Cano right there. And I just want to know, David, in the history of baseball, however long it's been around, has any pitcher ever told the truth when asked on the mound about something?
Oh, yeah, there were some that told the truth, and you know, sometimes you're afraid to tell the truth because then you sort of get labeled as soft, somebody who's, oh, you're not tough enough to play through when you're hurt or tough enough to play through injuries, and that's the old school mentality. New school, you need to be honest. You need to tell your manager or whatever the truth if you really are hurt, because in the long run it's only going to hurt the team and you're only going to hurt yourself. But Kuroda's so tough, he didn't want to come out even after he had trouble with a couple of hit batters in that inning.
Here's Saltalamacchia. Now, in Yankee history, one of the most famous lies was told by you to Joe Torre in the '96 series, right? He said, "Can you get this guy?" And you had nothing, and you said, "Yeah, I could."
Well, that's what you're conditioned to think. You can't think otherwise. Of course, you're supposed to think that way on the mound.
So why do managers bother to ask?
Well, you need to have a close relationship with your players. You need to sort of know who you can trust and who you can't. And, at that point in time, I was sort of joking when I said I was lying to Joe, but in the back of my mind, I've got Fred McGriff up. It's the World Series. Bases loaded. Yeah, sure, I can get this guy out. Of course I can. But, in the back of your mind, there's that doubt. But I wasn't physically hurt at that time. It was just a question of what kind of stuff I had left. Barely enough to get out of that jam.
And that's all you needed, just barely enough. Yankees won all 3 games in Atlanta after losing the first 2 in the Bronx, and then came back and won the World Series in Game 6.
Michael, as athletes, that's the way you're supposed to think. You're supposed to condition yourself to think that way, that you can do things that normally you probably that you couldn't do. You've got to be a grinder. You've got to think, yeah, I can make a pitch. As a pitcher, you always think you're one pitch out of a jam. If you start thinking the other way of, uh-oh, here we go.
Ground ball right side and past a diving Overbay into right field. So Saltalamacchia picks up his second hit. Run so contrary to the times that we're in, and you see Overbay, who's a good first baseman, just couldn't get there. We talk about concussions in football, and they want you to tell the truth. And you see guys, their bell is rung, and they stay in. They don't say anything because they don't want to lose a job, and they don't want to be called a wimp or anything like that.
It's definitely a cultural thing within the game of really any sport, more so football, obviously, than baseball. Although baseball, obviously, with the grind of the schedule, 162 games, there's lots of little things that nag you.
That one gets past Stewart, allowing Saltalamacchia to go to second.
Stewart setting up away, gets the one down and in. Right off the web of his glove. You see he's anticipating away, and he's got to reach all the way across the plate. Can't quite snag it.
Count 1-1. Now 1-2.
Can see how tough Epley can be on right-handed batters when he's with that sidewindy delivery. If he can get the ball down and away to a righty, it's just hard for a right-handed batter to hang in there. Almost looks like he's going to release it behind your back. And if he can get it down and away, it's tough. Excellent job for the Yankees last year, both him and Rapata. The sidewinding righty and the sidewinding lefty. Well, the Yankees really got their money's worth out of those two guys last year.
Swing and a miss. Middlebrooks is down on strikes.
Right on cue, you see the sidearm delivery and the down and away sinker. Two-seam grip. And you can almost see, you know, just the stance. The right-handed batters almost kind of give up. They sort of flinch just a little bit, just from where the ball's coming from on the release point.
Pitch to Victorino is a strike. Punched out toward left field. It's going to dunk in for a base hit. Saltalamacchia rounds third. He's coming home. The throw is cut off by Youkilis. And another big two-out hit for the Red Sox. As they're building a picket fence, they're up 3-0.
But when you're a new player on a new team, boy, you want to get off to a good start. And Victorino, clutch, off the plate. Excellent plate coverage. Serves it in the left field. Another big two-out RBI knock for Victorino. Saltalamacchia running pretty well there. Good anticipation for the big fella.
Here is Jackie Bradley Jr., who was hit by a pitch in the second inning. That was right after Kuroda got hit on the hand. Bradley's 22 years old, and he was the opening day left fielder for the Red Sox. And he became the youngest Red Sox left fielder to start on opening day. You have to go back to 1962. And a kid from Long Island named Carl Yastrzemski got the start at 22 for the Red Sox. Runner goes. Swung on a miss. Throw by Stewart. It was a bit wide. Grabbed by Nunez, but a stolen base for Victorino.
Victorino, a running jump off of Epley, and Stewart tries to make up for it with a quick delivery after the swing and miss, and just no chance. He had 3-4 steps before Epley released the ball. Flying Hawaiian off to a great start in his Boston Red Sox career.
Grounded to first. A foul ball.
The value of the excitement of a young player for a franchise, for the fan base. What every organization dreams of, developing your own and bringing them up. young potential everyday star in the making. So valuable to not only the organization, but the entire Red Sox nation is so excited about this kid.
And you like a kid that knows how to win. In college, he won 2 national championships with South Carolina. And there's something to be said for knowing how to win at any level. The 2-2. Ground ball up the middle and through for a base hit. Victorino will round third. He'll score easily. And Jackie Bradley Jr. picks up an RBI single as the Red Sox lead 4-0. And for Bradley, that's his first big league hit.
Well, as tough as Epley is on right-handed batters when he gets it down the way, lefties just get a better look. It's all about the release point. As Nunez tries to cover the ground, but the ball's hit too hard. The lefties just getting a better look off of sidewinding right-handers. You see lefties hit 352 off of Epley last year, as righties only hit 227. It's a function of release point.
And that's why last year he's more of a matchup guy, but now you try to eat up innings. The Yankee bullpen is going to be asked today to get 23 outs. That's a lot, considering you don't have a day off coming up in a while. After this game tomorrow, 3 games in Detroit, 4 games in Cleveland, another weekend next week here in the Bronx. So there's not much time to recharge that bullpen's batteries. That's a lot of outs to get. And Larry Robschow's going to try to figure it out. And when some game like this happens, usually a pitcher loses his job because they have to bring up somebody who's a fresh arm to eat up innings tomorrow.
That's so true and a great point, Michael. I mean, today's rosters, I mean, when you look at the 25-man roster on a major league team or even the 5-man rotation, you can almost double that. Several teams are using 50 players a year. Some teams are using 10, 12, 13 starters a year. And there's a potential future starter for the Yankees who could eat up a lot of innings and was starting all spring training, was going to start in AAA, but the Yankees need him here.
They bring him in, he can give them 5 innings, so this way you don't burn out the entire bullpen. But you're also still in that area where you can win this game, so you can't give up and just let a guy get slapped around and give up on the game. Count 1-2. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. So Stewart has a talk with Epley. 1-2 count on Iglesias. Past the diving Euclid and down the left field line. Wells will play the carom. And he will flip the ball into Nunez as Bradley stops at third and Iglesias picks up a double.
Well, Iglesias is known for his glove, one of the best defensive shortstops in the Red Sox system for years. Has swung the bat pretty well in this series, and you see Euclid with the dive. The only thing that saved an RBI was the carom.
Well, Girardi's trying to keep it right here at 4-0, so he takes the ball from Epley. He's going to go to Warren, second and third, 2 outs, and Ellsbury due up. And now that you can watch live Yes Network Yankees games on your PCs or laptops with Optimum Online. Get a full season of live Yankees games on the go for just $29.99. Now, if you're an Optimum Online customer who watches Yes on IOTV, go to YesNetwork.com to get more information and subscribe now. So now it's Adam Warren's turn, and this becomes a very important spot in this game. 4-0 already. You see what Warren did last year at AAA. And the Red Sox have runners on second and third, 2 outs, and their leadoff batter, Jacoby Ellsbury, at the plate. And he throws a strike. Count 0-2. I'd like to see that out of a young pitcher, come in and throw strikes.
And that's been Adam Warren's reputation throughout his minor league career up to this point. He's not afraid of contact. It's a strike thrower.
Count 1-2. Just got word on Kuroda. He has a contusion, right middle finger, and he will have an X-ray tonight. Up the middle and a base hit. Bradley scores. Iglesias scores. Another 2-out hit for the Red Sox. A 2-run single for Jacoby Ellsbury, and it's 6-0 Boston.
We got a 1-2 count. You see where Stewart wanted it up and in. It was up, but it wasn't in. Ellsbury just muscles it and fights it off right back up the box. We've seen a lot of that from the Red Sox hitters so far these 2 games.
Here's Daniel Nava. Count 1-0. Nava 1 for 1, hit by a pitch, picked up an RBI, has scored a run. Fouled away. Ground ball, second base. Cano just gets the hustling Nava, and that will do it. But the Red Sox get 4 more runs. We're going to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Red Sox 6, Yankees nothing. Had their welcome home dinner, an annual event. The entire team was there. A humongous crowd. Mariano Rivera got a big hand from the crowd, and Lou Piniella, our very own, received the Pride of the Yankees award, gave a great speech, presented a trophy by Hal Steinbrenner, and the Yankees raised a record $1.75 million for charity with the Yankee welcome home dinner. Really nice night. Lincoln scoreboard, 6-0 Red Sox over the Yankees. Yankees now have to try to rally against Clay Buchholz. There's a strike.
It's nice to see Lou Piniella come full circle around in his career, you know, after actually starting Kansas City. The Royals, Rookie of the Year with the Royals in Kansas City. And then, of course, a great Yankee career, and then his wonderful managerial career, and now back with the Yankees. And does he have some stories, Michael?
Oh, he's got great stories. Looped into center field. Ellsbury's there. 1 out. Well, Susan Waldman actually introduced him at the dinner and told one of the stories that he always tells, that when he first reported to the Yankees, they trained in Fort Lauderdale. When he was at the Royals, he had longer hair. And he showed up, and there wasn't a uniform in his locker. And Nick Priori, the old-time, I think it was Pete Shea at this time, told him, Mr. Steinbrenner wants to see you in the trailer outside. And so Lou went to the trailer, and George Steinbrenner told him, in order to get a uniform here with the Yankees, you're going to have to cut your hair. And Lou said, I don't understand how that makes a difference. He goes, that's the rules. You have to cut your hair. And Lou Piniella said, so you mean to say that Jesus Christ couldn't play for the Yankees? George said, come with me, young man. There was a lake behind the left field wall. He said, all right, you walk across this, you don't have to cut your hair. Lou cut his hair and got his uniform.
Can't walk on water, right?
Gardner tried to bunt in the first inning, a beautiful bunt, but a better play by Middlebrooks, who was again in on the grass guarding against the bunt. Count 1-2. Two and two.
Well, the bad news is that Hiroki Kuroda got knocked out of the game with an injury. The Red Sox are leading 6-0, but it's still early enough. The Yankees still have enough at-bats to try to get back in this game.
Two. Swing and a miss. Gardner down on strikes. 2 outs.
And on the other end of it, if you're Clay Buchholz, this is how you start throwing the ball with a 6-run lead. You just start pinning your ears back and going right after these hitters and putting the pressure on them. Sort of an art to pitch with a lead. Young pitchers sort of have to learn how to do that. Some have difficulty with it, but the good ones know how to pitch with a lead.
There's a strike to Ichiro Suzuki. Popped up. Middlebrooks is there. And that'll do it as the Yankees go down in order 1-2-3 against Buchholz. We're going to the fourth. Boston 6, New York nothing. Fourth inning means it's time for the New York State Smokers Quit Line Quiz. Robinson Cano made his 8th consecutive opening day start at second base. Who was the last Yankee to start at second base on opening day before Cano? We will find that out in the bottom of the fourth. Adam Warren against Dustin Pedroia. 0-1. 6-0 Red Sox. Count 0-2.
I think I know the answer to that one. Who was the last second baseman to start before Cano? More importantly, who's the next one going to be? They hope it's not for a long time. Really has been a battle of second basemen for these two franchises. Pedroia at the plate and Cano back and forth.
The 0-2. Dribbled slowly. Left side. Not in time to get Pedroia. Very slow developing play. Euclid's cut over to his left, but the ball rolled too slowly.
Right off the end of the bat. You see 1, 2, 3, and 4 hops is just too many. Pedroia easily safe. Former teammate trying to get Pedroia first, not enough time.
Here's Napoli. Cold weather like this, did you pitch any differently because you know guys don't want to get jammed? Did you think any differently on the mound?
You really did. You know, I mean, cold weather, you knew the ball probably was going to travel in the air, so you were more inclined to try to challenge guys inside with your fastball. And even if you had a power fastball, if you're a four-seam guy, maybe even up the ladder, let them hit long fly balls because it's going to take a pretty good poke to get it out on a night like tonight. You know, the wind has died down from earlier. It was really breezy during batting practice today.
Fouled away. It's a chilly night here at the stadium, and it's cold up here in the booth. We're wide open and windows are open, but it's not terrible.
It's not too bad.
It's chilly.
Kind of sitting on your hands kind of weather, though, up here.
Mm-hmm. You like my hat, Dave?
Very nice hat.
Thank you.
That's old school right there.
Little paperboy hat. 2-1. There's a strike. 2-2. Just missed.
You know, Mike, I'm not even trying to hide it anymore. I'm just leaving my glasses on, even when they give us a shot up here. You know, I'm shamelessly trying to get a plug, trying to get an endorsement deal from Transitions or something. You know. Just shameless at this point.
They look good. Makes you look professorial. Right back to Warren. There's one. And there's two.
Nice pitch from Warren. Little slider down and away. Backhand right to Robbie. Just what the doctor ordered. Yankees need Warren to settle in here and give him some time. Give him a little length.
And the pitch to Saltalamacchia is a strike. Red Sox have 10 hits already. Yankees have managed 2. It's 6-0 Boston. count 0-2. Third and final game of the series is tomorrow night. Andy Pettitte against Ryan Dempster. Dempster, one of the free agents picked up by the Red Sox. Swing and a miss. And a scoreless inning for the first time for Yankee pitchers in this game. We go to the bottom of the fourth. Quitline quiz. Robinson Cano makes his 8th consecutive opening day start on Monday at second base. Who was the last Yankee to start at second base on opening day before Cano? Do you have an idea, David?
Billy Martin.
Billy Martin.
Oh, wait, no. I lost my head.
Tony Womack. Would you have remembered?
I wouldn't have got Tony Womack, no.
And he lasted only about a month because Cano came up about a month in. I think his first game was in St. Pete against the Rays. Cano and Chin-Ming Wang came up the same day, and now the Yankees have signed Chin-Ming Wang to a minor league contract. He pitched well in the WBC.
He did. He looked good. His velocity's coming back up a bit. Is that Michael Medvin with that question?
No, Ryan Rutherford.
Oh, that's Ryan. Ryan, very nice, Ryan.
Hit sharply to the shortstop. And Iglesias guns down Cano for the first out. Now you take a look at Iglesias, and no one is going to try to spin things and say that it's warm out tonight. But it's not that cold. I mean, it's cold. But he looks like he's in the Arctic Circle. Youkilis takes outside.
That about says it all there, that look.
Well, you're sitting in the stands different than playing. These are hardy souls. 6-0 Red Sox. Youkilis going old school without sleeves. Does have the guard on the elbow. Count 1 and 2.
Well, we talked about Clay Buchholz coming into this year. You know, he lost his last 5 starts from last year, and he had a great spring training, kind of re-hooking up with John Farrell, the Red Sox manager. And he has looked sharp. Good presence on the mound, good tight cutter tonight. Really mixed in all his pitches well. You see, John Farrell was the pitching coach for the Red Sox 2 years ago when Buchholz had his great year.
And Euclid down on strikes.
Euclid kind of shaking his head, doesn't like the call. We'll get the look. Got a little tail on it. Generous call, borderline. Looked like it might have been off the plate, but it did try to come back and catch the corner. But excellent pitch from Buchholz. You see him drive that pitch down. Good mechanics.
John Farrell is from New Jersey, Monmouth Beach. Shore Regional High School, that was in West Long Branch. And his mother, Suzanne, still lives there. Hafner hits one deep to right center field. Going back is Ellsbury. Track wall. See ya. A home run for Travis Hafner. And the Yankees are on the board. It's 6-1 Red Sox.
Wake up the Yankee dugout a bit. And a nice swing from Hafner. Right down the middle from Buchholz. Second good swing tonight from Hafner. Hafner just missed one of these his first time up. This one finds the bullpen.
Here's Vernon Wells. Hit sharply and past Middlebrooks into left field. Wells is 2 for 2.
This is what the Yankees saw in spring training out in Arizona, was that Wells has got some bat speed back. And we talked a lot about his injuries over the last several years of his career. I mean, there's a litany of them, including a thumb injury last year. But he had a great spring out in Arizona, rededicated himself this offseason. Seems to be healthy again, and that bat does look quick.
Grounded to first, grabbed there by Napoli, and that'll do it. But the Yankees, last 3 batters of the inning, actually hit the ball hard against Buchholz. And they get on the board. How? Their first home run of the year. Travis Hafner goes into the Yankee bullpen. We played 4, 6-1 Red Sox. Game with Jack Curry. Kia scoreboard. You see the Red Sox lead 6-1. Also joining them on the postgame show will be Meredith Morakovitz. And because she's impatient, doesn't want to wait to the postgame show, she joins us right now. Right, Meredith?
I hope you don't mind, Michael. I thought, why not?
You've got some information, so I never mind. Tell me about Teixeira.
Well, there is some good news on the injury front. Mark Teixeira continues to progress. He's eyeing a May 1st return coming back from that wrist injury. When he injured it on March 5th, they said about 8 to 10 weeks, so that would be on the early side. He saw the doctor on Monday. All signs showed that he was progressing. He doesn't have to wear the brace on that right wrist all the time. He was actually out at first base, taking some grounders today, still not able to swing the bat. That'll be the biggest test when he starts swinging again, exactly how he feels.
Long run for Ichiro, but he runs out of room. So that's good news.
Certainly
because
good news.
there was talk that, you know, the earliest you could see him might be mid-May. So maybe if they could speed that up, that would be great for them.
No question, but I caution you, it's not until he starts swinging the bat again that you'll really know how that wrist is. But it was one of those things where 70% chance that he doesn't need surgery, 30% chance that he does. So the fact that it's feeling better at all is certainly a sign pointing in the right direction.
A lot of people want to know about the captain, Derek Jeter. What's the latest news on him?
He's not doing too much right now, Michael. He was down in Tampa long tossing a little bit, also doing some strengthening exercises, but he hasn't done any baseball activity since after that cortisone shot. He DH'd in that one game, and that's when they shut him down for a while. So he hasn't really done anything as of late.
Middlebrooks with a fly ball to Ichiro for the first out. And Brian Cashman kind of squelched it yesterday because Derek was backdated on the DL to the 22nd, eligible to come off in the 6th, and the Yankee GM said that's not happening.
Yeah, it's just not a realistic goal right now. They want to make sure that he can respond with that ankle, play 9 innings, and come back the next day and play again. And he hasn't done any defensive work since DHing in that game, or even before, that cortisone shot. So right now, that's not a realistic date, and exactly when he'll be back, General Manager Brian Cashman nor Derek Jeter will really put a timetable on it. It's just all how that ankle responds, so it's a wait and see with Derek Jeter.
All right, thanks, Meredith. We will see you again on the postgame.
Sounds good. I'll be looking forward to it.
All right, Victorino takes a strike, a little bit low, but they call it a strike at the knees. I guess it makes sense, David. You can't push Jeter. You push him and you set him back, then you're going to lose him for a long time. You might as well make sure he's right when you come get him back.
Yeah, I mean, the telltale sign for Jeter was when he needed a cortisone shot in spring training. That was a red flag, which tells you he needs to back off. Because the last thing you want to do is push him too much too soon and come out here and get injured again. So obviously the offseason surgery, he needs a little more time.
1-1. Kind of a wave there by Victorino, 1-2. And you knew Derek was really aiming for opening day. You know, you break your ankle, first game of the ALCS, you get the surgery, and that's the goal. But once that goal's out of view, then you got to kind of reset and say, let's get this right.
Which is exactly what they're doing, and it is the right thing to do. And you get nothing but admiration for Derek. I mean, he pushed hard to try to get ready for opening day, and it just wasn't to be.
Three-two pitch, swung on and missed. Joe Girardi, the Yankee manager, at his daily press conference today, spoke about Derek Jeter's situation.
Our expectation is that he is going to be an everyday player again. It's just when is what we're concerned about, and how long it takes for him to get through what he needs to get through to be that everyday player.
And that's their goal. So here is Jackie Bradley Jr., and there's a strike. Also, with the walking wounded today, outside the batting cage with his teammates, Alex Rodriguez was in uniform. He is rehabbing from hip surgery. He was with them at the welcome home dinner, and he was with them on opening day and again on the field today. Still not able to do anything baseball-wise, just rehabbing the injury. And the best case scenario with Alex would be sometime in July. Fly ball left field. Vernon Wells is there, and Adam Warren throws a 1-2-3, fifth inning. After 4.5, we're halfway through. 6-1 Sox. Show. It's back for a new season. Every week, the Yankee skipper discusses the latest Bomber news, including series previews and injury updates. The Joe Girardi Show premieres Sunday at 5 after the Yankees-Tigers from Detroit, only on Yes. 6-1 Red Sox over the Yankees as we go to the bottom of the fifth. And Eduardo Nunez leads off against Buchholz. And a swing and a miss. Kia scoreboard 6-10-0, leading 1-4-0. Ground ball up the middle and a base hit for Nunez. So the Yankees got to Buchholz a bit in the bottom of the fourth. And now Nunez starts off with a leadoff single here in the fifth.
Gotta feel good for Nunez to get his first hit of the year right there, right back up the middle.
Here's Chris Stewart. There's a strike. David mentioned the Red Sox are hoping that the reunion of John Farrell and Clay Buchholz returns him to what he was. The last time Farrell was here in 2010 as their pitching coach, Buchholz sported a 17-7 record with a 2.33. And they're hoping that he can work the magic as a manager. Same thing with John Lester. He was a highly respected pitching coach here. Then he got the job with the Blue Jays as their manager, and the Red Sox after Bobby Valentine. And last year's 69-win last place finish decided to make a trade with the Blue Jays to bring Farrell here. Now, the pitching coach this year is Juan Nieves, but Farrell's in the dugout and can certainly say the right thing and maybe push the right button with these guys.
Yeah, it's like they have two pitching coaches, too. You know, Juan Nieves is well respected around the league and has made a great first impression so far with the Sox. And, of course, as Michael mentioned, you have a manager who's a former pitcher, which is a bit of a rarity. But, you know, you talk about mending a broken starting rotation last year. Two pretty good guys to work with.
For some strange reason, you don't have a lot of great managers that were pitchers throughout the history of baseball. Now, Tommy Lasorda was a pitcher, and he's a Hall of Famer. Roger Craig was a pitcher and was a very, very good manager. Buddy Black does a good job with the San Diego Padres, but there are a lot of pitchers that became managers that didn't do a good job. So the Red Sox are hoping Farrell bucks that trend. Yankee pitching coach Larry Rothschild with a bad Tampa Bay team did not succeed there, and I think there were a lot more failed pitchers than guys that really did the job. Seemed the best managers happen to be the guys who catch the pitchers.
You know, the pitchers are flaky by nature. You know, a lot of guys they sit in the dugout and, you know, they kind of daydream sometimes. You know, some of them watch the games. You have to be a pretty special pitcher to be considered a manager.
If I didn't love this job as much as I do, I would ask you, what did you daydream about? But I'm not going to ask it.
No. That would be for the show that Lupinell and I are going to have on HBO. I can't do that on this station.
So Stewart has worked the count to 2-2. And now he's worked it full. Yankees need base runners. And the top of the order is coming up after Stewart.
You kind of illustrate that point you were making, Michael, in terms of the Boston Red Sox rotation. You know, they just did not. Obviously, we had an awful year collectively, but innings-wise, too. I mean, Boston only collectively averaged 5.7 innings per start from their starting rotation last year, which is towards the bottom of the pack, 10th in the American League. Yankees, conversely, led the league last year, their starting rotation, 6.2 innings per start.
Runner goes, 3-2 is foul back. So Jordy tried to stay out of the double play.
It's hard to believe, you know, Michael, the league average last year for starting pitchers in the American League was just 5.9 innings per start. Shows you the importance of bullpens nowadays and why you see the trend of so many hard throwers in the bullpen now. Getting more and more outs. The bullpens are relied on not only just for the 7th, 8th, and 9th, sometimes the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, and sometimes even into the 5th inning.
Runner goes again, and that one is drilled to left field. Bradley back, still back, and he runs it down. So Stewart gave it a ride as Nunez heads back to first. Warm day, July, that might be gone.
This is well hit. Up and in, Stewart kind of brings his hands inside, gets the barrel on the ball, and Jackie Bradley's cruising. He's got it the whole way. Very much under control. If you're on the mound, Buchholz is not so sure. Little sigh of relief. Buchholz's pitch count in great shape here. Bottom of the 5th, 53 pitches.
Nunez, like Iglesias, also bundled up against the Cole. Popped up. They had him played well. Jackie Bradley Jr. is there for the second out. So Gardner is 0 for 3. Here is Ichiro Suzuki. Walked in the first and popped a third in the third. Runner goes. Throw to second. He's in there. So down 5 runs. The Yankees know what they have to do. They have to continue to play this sort of ball.
And an excellent jump from Nunez. And you're right, Michael. The Yankees are going to be forced to take a lot of chances on the base paths. And Nunez has got that type of speed, but just an excellent jump and read. Not even close.
Red Sox outfield shallow for Ichiro.
Really a good chance there from Nunez as well with 2 outs here. If he gets caught, Suzuki's leading off the next inning. Now you got a chance for an RBI.
Strike outside, then the count 2-1. And now 3-1. On deck is Cano.
Shows you that Buchholz's faith in his changeup. On 2-1 with a 5-run lead and 2 outs, he throws the changeup to Suzuki. Last thing you want to do when you're on the mound right now with a 5-run lead is add another base runner to the mix with Cano on deck.
Nunez leads off second, 2 outs and a 3-1. Foul ball, 3-2. Here's the payoff. Spanked in the center field. Ellsbury is there and runs it down for the final out of the 5th. No runs to hit, no errors, and 1 man left. We go to the 6th. 6-1 Boston. Internet technology that makes you feel superhuman. That's powerful. Ryan Dempster last year with Chicago and Texas, 12-8, 3.38. Andy Pettitte with the Yankees injury-shortened season, 5-4, 2.87. Everything begins on Yes at 6 with the BP show. Pre-game is at 6:30. First pitch will be right around 7:07. Iglesias takes high, 1-0. So 6-1, the Red Sox over the Yankees. Adam Warren, Yankees' third pitcher. Grounded past the diving Euclid and down the left field line. The Yankees cannot get Iglesias out. He's 2 for 3 tonight. He was 3 for 5 on opening day, and he's a light-hitting shortstop.
Yeah, known for his defense, and once again, down the line, just past the diving Euclid. Michael mentioned that the Red Sox had signed Stephen Drew to play shortstop, but he had concussion problems in spring training, but he's doing much better and is expected back fairly soon. And you got to believe he's going to play short because they gave him $9.5 million.
Ellsbury grounds it to second. There's one, and they can't turn two. A nice scoop by Overbeck.
Ellsbury just enough to roll over, down and away by Warren. Good pitch. Nunez can't quite get the turn. And Ellsbury just runs too well to kind of make that play.
Here's Daniel Nava. Singleton scored in the first. Hit by a pitch with the bases loaded by Kuroda in the second, and then grounded to second in the third. If you just joined us, Hiroki Kuroda allowed a leadoff single in the second inning to Shane Victorino. Line drive right up the middle, and he just instinctively put his hand up, and the ball just grazed the middle finger. He told Joe Girardi he was okay to stay in. But following that, he hit a batter, gave up a ground ball, force out, walked a batter, and then hit a batter again. And Girardi and company had seen enough. They take him out. They say there's a contusion on the middle finger, and he's undergoing x-rays.
You could see that the ball was misdirected after it hit his finger, and the spin on the ball changed on its track into center field. And from that point on, he obviously had a lot of trouble.
And he is a pitcher who command is a big part of his game, and walks and two-hit batters would alert you that something was up. He wasn't getting a good feel on the ball. Now, we had thought for a while that it was the index finger, which you said was really important. Is the middle finger a little less important?
Not exactly. No, you need them both. You know, the middle finger is used more for breaking stuff in secondary pitches. Your middle finger is usually your pressure point finger to throw sliders and curveballs, where your index finger would be more of your fastball or sinking type fastball would be the pressure on that finger. So either way, it's not good. Either finger's not good. You need both of them to manufacture spin on the ball, to have control. You sort of lose your radar once you lose feel in your fingertips. 100 miles an hour off your middle finger will do that to you.
And you saw that replay when they came out, and it happens anytime. It doesn't have anything to do with the cold weather. His hand was shaking, just vibrating from the hit, and they let him stay in after that, and things kind of unraveled. I think it was Andy Pettitte last year that caught a ball barehanded. Came out, his hand was shaking and vibrating.
He finished the inning as well,
yep.
And then sort of admitted afterwards that he shouldn't have. Morton has really acquitted himself well here. Came in relief and gave up a hit and a couple of Epley's runs, but since that point, really has been sharp. Thrown the ball well, all of his pitches.
That one's driven out to deep right field. Ichiro looks up, and it's off the base of the wall. Nava's going for 2. The throw is not in time. Advancing to third is Ellsbury.
You see, here's the changeup. He's shown a good changeup. This one kind of just stays there a little bit. Nava, good job of staying on that changeup, reaching out and hooking it. The only question is off the wall or over the wall, and Warren catches a break. It stays in the ballpark.
Well, down 6-1. Runners on second and third, one out. The Yankees have to bring the infield in. Hitters' eyes light up with that. Pedroia 2 for 3 so far tonight. Count 1-0.
Yankees obviously in the position down 5 runs. You have to play the infield all the way in.
One and one. Now the Yankee outfield, really good arms in left and in right, and Brett Gardner has a decent arm for a center fielder, so there's not a weak wing out there.
Yeah, Gardner usually very accurate as well. Ichiro, a legendary gun in right.
1-2. The only one without a Gold Glove out there is Gardner, and he should have won one 2 years ago. A lot of people felt that with all the defensive metrics, he was the best outfielder in baseball, but he didn't get it. Last year he was on the shelf with injuries. But Wells has won Gold Gloves in center field, and Ichiro out and right. Just missed outside. .6-1 Red Sox looking for more. The 2-2. Grounded to short. Thought about coming home and takes the out at first. Ellsbury was running when the ball was hit, and despite the infield being in, Nunez had no chance. 7-1 Boston.
Running on contact. This is the contact play once again, and it's 2 hops. The second hop was all Ellsbury needed to make it, and that's the theory behind the run on contact play, even with the infield in. And that ball's hit fairly hard, but it took 2 big hops, and that's all it takes with speed on the bases.
In 2 games, we've seen the Red Sox run on contact twice. Here's Napoli. There's a ground ball up the middle. Fielded there by Nunez. Gets to his feet. Does not have a play at first. So a base hit for Napoli as Nava advances to third. Nunez did save a run there.
Well, excellent range from Nunez. You can see he's playing pretty much straight up. He's got to cover 4 or 5 steps and a dive to get there. Might have had a little more time than they thought with Napoli running, but you could see fully outreached right in the web. Did save a run, but if he pops up with Napoli running, might have had a shot with his arm strength. At least 4 or 5 steps before the dive. Looked like Nunez had in his mind the fake to first and try to get the throw back to third behind the runner.
Here's Saltalamacchia. 0-1. Count 1-1.
really the pitch that Warren has worked on so hard, and it's so important if you want to be a starting pitcher, is that third pitch, that changeup. And he's thrown some really good ones tonight, that circle change, and we saw him work on it in spring training. But he also got burned this inning by one of them as well. And there's a good time for it again with Saltalamacchia, a dead red hitter.
Count 1-2.
And there it is, back to back, and that was a dandy. 82 miles an hour, good arm speed. It's just a pitch that a starter needs, especially the second or third time through the order. You need that third pitch, especially for left-handed batters, to be able to take the speed off, get some easy outs, throw it in some fastball counts.
Went 3 in a row there.
3 straight changeups in a row. 2 of them not so great, 1 of them really good. But if ever there was a time to try to freeze him with a fastball in, now you've got it set up. And that's the purpose of the changeup, just to put a little mystery in the hitter's head.
4 in a row, and he goes down on the change. Red Sox add a run. We go to the bottom of the 6th, 7-1 Boston. Prius. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning, and the Yankees are down 7-1. Red Sox with 13 hits, Yankees with 5. And it'll be the heart of the Yankee order: Cano, Youkilis, and Hafner. And again, the Red Sox with an extraordinary shift on Cano. You know, watching all of his games for the last 8 years, this one really strikes you as odd. You know that Teixeira pulls the ball all the time, but so far he has not taken advantage over the 1.5 games he's played against the Red Sox with this shift. But the spreadsheets have to show that this is the way he hits the ball on the ground, and when he goes the other way, it's in the air.
Very true. You know, and that's why you see Ellsbury shading him the other way, to the left side of second base. So the outfielder's sort of playing him slightly to hit the ball the other way, and the infield obviously extreme pull.
And you wonder, despite being a veteran, does this get into Cano's head? Because he could lose some hits with somebody playing in short right field.
But the one thing I do like about this shift is that you don't take Dustin Pedroia, who's an outstanding second baseman, out of position. You bring the third baseman Middlebrooks way over here to play the short extra softball field man position. Leave that guy right there. because he can cover the ball up the middle to his left or right. So that part kind of makes sense to me.
Count 2-1.
Just wonder at what point, you know, in the middle of a game, in a tight game, that some of these players are going to just try to lay down some bunts and push it to the left side. And Boston's response would be, thank you, go ahead, we want you punting, instead of trying to hit the ball out of the park.
Now, the difference between Cano and Teixeira said he can't do it. He can't put the ball on the ground on the left side. Cano can. He skies that one to center field. Ellsbury is there for the first out. Well, he's got real estate for easy hits if he's ever in a slump. We'll see if every team plays him that way. I don't think they'll play him like that in Detroit because Jim Leland doesn't believe in those extreme shifts. He's more old school. Here's Youkilis. Youkilis, one of 6 players in the Yankee opening day lineup making their debut for the Yankees. Popped up right side, and it makes the seats. And if you're wondering, is that unusual? Here's how unusual it was. It was the first time since opening day of 1903, which happens to be the Yankees' first year, that as many as 6 players debuted for the Yankees franchise in any game ever. So that was different on opening day, seeing that many guys for the first time in pinstripes.
1903.
1903. Youkilis fouls it away.
The first year of Yankee Stadium was what, 1923?
1923 was, yeah, the opening of the old Yankee Stadium. Grounded softly to short, charging Iglesias for the second out. Let's take a look at 1923 opening day.
That was a low flyover right there, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. And it's the house that Ruth built, and it was against the Red Sox, and he hits a home run, first home run ever in the stadium. The Yankees won that game 4-1. Right across the street here from the new Yankee Stadium. Here's Travis Hafner. He went yard, first Yankee home run this year, into the bullpen in the 4th inning. Yankee bullpen.
A little different twist on the shift. Now this time they're going to go ahead and take Pedroia and put him out in the shallow outfield. This is now Dustin Pedroia here, whereas before it was Will Middlebrook. So not sure of the strategy with that, but obviously a lot of thought going into this shift from the Boston side.
So the one constant in the shifting aspect is the shortstop stays put.
Probably Hafner considered even more extreme dead pull than Robbie Cano, obviously. And maybe it doesn't run as well as Cano, so maybe they figure Pedroia out there will have more time on a hard smash to field it and throw out Hafner.
2-1. Missed outside 3-1. And that was a home run by Hafner. The only Yankee run. Three and two.
So big time respect for Buchholz there on a 3-1 count, going with the cutter. A little slide cut piece down and in. Not giving in to Hafner. Hafner's had two really good swings off of him, one resulting in that home run you just saw.
Strike three. Hafner takes it right down the middle. He didn't think so. As the Yankees go down in order, 1, 2, 3. Looked like it was too far inside, but it spills back over the inside corner, and we go to the 7th. Right here at the stadium, Andy Pettit on the mound for the Yankees against Ryan Dempster. Our coverage starts at 6 with Audi batting practice today and the Tri-State 4 pregame only on Yes. First pitch should be right around 7:07. Warren deals to Middlebrooks, who hits one deep to left center. But going back is Gardner, and he makes the play. The ball not really traveling tonight because Middlebrooks really hit that hard.
Well, you got to feel stunned if you're Middlebrooks right here. I mean, that's maybe one of the deepest parts of the park right there. And that's about as good as you could swing the bat. Looking at the dugout, almost in disbelief. Cold night.
Here's Shane Victorino, 2 for 3. Count 1-0. Cadillac scoreboard, 7-1 Red Sox.
Middlebrooks does have a nice swing. We saw him last year, obviously break in with a bang. And then the injury kind of derailed, his sensational start. But he's the real deal. He handles himself well. Really good swing at the plate. Got some power to that swing, too.
Two and two. Victorino signed a 3-year, $39 million free agent deal with the Red Sox. And he's certainly done a good job in the first 2 games. Has a World Series ring with the Philadelphia Phillies. Popped up, long run for Stewart. Oh, he makes the play. What a play by Chris Stewart. 2 away.
I mean, this is one peak, and okay, I'm going to go ahead and go. And this is classy on the Boston side. And who's the guy that's going to help him? It's usually Stewart, with just a fantastic play. Got the rail, and there's Pedroia. Classy move on the Red Sox part right there.
Jackie Bradley Jr. takes outside. One and one. Two and one.
Warren getting stretched out here in the 7th. 66 pitches.
Jackie Bradley Jr. takes a lot of pitches. He works counts. He's at 3-2 again. The league will catch on, and all of a sudden he'll find himself down 0-2 a lot, and then he'll have to make an adjustment. But it doesn't seem as if he's afraid to be up there with 2 strikes.
Yeah, that's the key.
Ripped into center field. Gardner is there, and he'll put it away for the final out of a 1-2-3 inning. At the end of 6.5 innings of play, it's time for the 7th inning stretch. Red Sox lead 7-1 here at the stadium, but will remain right here as we honor America in the Bronx.
Please rise and offer a moment of silent prayer as we remember the servicemen and women who are serving our country at home and around the globe. Thank you. Now, join in Kate Smith's rendition of God Bless America.
From the mountains to the prairies to the ocean.
An 8-game road trip for the Brooklyn Nets. Kind of moved out of the Barclays Center because of the circus, so they win the final game of that long trip. Cadillac scoreboard 7-1, bottom of the 7th inning. Clay Buchholz has made one mistake. He had a pitch up to Travis Hafner, who hit the Yankees' first home run of the year into the Yankee bullpen. That was with 2 outs in the 4th inning. Other than that, Buchholz has really been cruising. Good pitch count, 74 pitches through 6 innings. And now face Vernon Wells, who's 2 for 2 tonight against Buchholz. So 2 of the 5 hits off the bat of Wells. There's a strike. Two. Well, we saw one of those explode on A.J. Burnett the other day. Just picked it up, and it absolutely exploded all over the mound, all over A.J.'s glove. Grounded to short. You want to wear that never happened to you?
No, never happened. You know, sometimes they do. You know, the rosin, depending on how it's stored, can get hard and kind of a little too rocky. Expand a little bit depending on the weather. But it really is just an old sock with some rosin in it. You know, there's nothing been that way for 100 years. No real advances in the rosin bag over the years.
Here's Lyle Overbay. Grounded. Grabbed there by Iglesias. The long throw. Napoli can't come up with it. And a base hit for Overbay. You could tell why they love this kid defensively.
I didn't think there was any chance. Just getting to that ball was good. And, of course, the right move, a couple of hops, and he had him. You could see it kind of tailed on him once it hits the grass. I mean, an excellent range. The pop-up, and go ahead and keep it low. Let's try to skip it over there. That last skip took a right turn on Napoli, but he had him. Deep in the hole.
Here's Eduardo Nunez. 1 for 2, single, and a stolen base. Count 1-0.
Just kind of noticing, you know, Michael, what you said about all these new players on the Yankees. 6 new players on opening day. First time since 1903. And something about the Yankee uniform, you know, no names on the back. When you think of certain numbers, you sort of equate them with certain players. Generation to generation. You know, obviously the numbers that are retired in Monument Park, you know who those guys are. But who do you think of when you see Lyle Overbay wearing number 55? Who do you think Yankees think of when you think of the number 55?
Hideki.
Got to be Matsui, yeah. Right?
The other day, Matsui was bestowed probably the highest award that a citizen could get in Japan. Essentially, what they would do in England is knight somebody, and that's pretty much what happened to him in Japan. And he's a rock star in Japan. And he helped the Yankees win the 2009 World Series. The 2-1.
Well, I noticed Chris Stewart on deck has number 19 on his back. Who do you think of when you see 19?
I think of Soho. Who do you think of?
What number did Dave Righetti wear?
19.
That's who I think of.
Now you got Nunez up there at 26. He just walks, and I'm going to give you a name that you probably know, but you don't think of when you see 26. The Beast, Steve Farr.
Wow, that is true. The former closer for the Yankees. Underrated closer. Did a good job for the Yankees. Steve Farr back in the 80s, yeah.
So first and second for the Yankees with one out. And they are going to send up Brendan Bosch to pinch hit for Chris Stewart. So this will be his Yankee debut. He was not in the lineup because he does not have good career numbers against Buchholz. But they're trying to get 3 with one swing here. And Nieves wants to go out and talk with Buchholz. Before the game, Bosch, who really is not a first baseman, he's an outfielder, working with Mick Kelleher.
And that's a great coach to work with. Mick Kelleher, one of the best infield coaches in the game. And, you know, although Bosch did play some first base in college, so it would be nice with his bat to be able to be more versatile, to not only play the outfield but play first base. And you only enhance your value. Yeah, I think that's Mick there, right?
Or Bazooka Joe. Bosch 3 for 18 lifetime against Buchholz, but 1 of the 3 a home run. Count 1-0. A lot of people surprised when the Tigers just released Bosch in spring training. Red Sox bullpen so impressive on opening day, getting busy. Andrew Miller pitched on opening day. Aceves did not. Foul back. Bosch has always hit well here at the stadium. He's hit the Yankees well. And when he burst upon the scene with the Tigers, it looked like he was going to be there a long time. But they signed Torrey Hunter to a 2-year free agent deal. And they've got some other young players. So he became expendable.
And the Tigers kind of did him a favor, too, to cut him loose and let him hook up with the Yankees. And it looked like he was going to get a lot of at-bats early this year before the Vernon Wells trade happened.
Count 1-2.
This is his first at-bat of the year.
Kind of looks like an old teammate of yours, David, facially. I got a little Jeff Nelson.
Nelson, huh?
The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Bosch down on strikes.
This is just a perfect pitch from Buchholz. Up the ladder, letter high on the inside corner. That's how you go after a left-handed hitter when you're up in the count. And Buchholz has been impressive. 87 pitches here in the bottom of the 7th. Both he and Lester continue what they started this spring training. Both pitched extremely well in spring training, trying to turn around their seasons from last year.
Gardner is 0 for 3. Count 2-0. First and second with 2 outs. We're at the bottom of the 7th. Now 3-0. You see Buchholz angry with himself. With Ichiro on deck.
One way or another, you figure this will be Buchholz's last hitter.
There's a strike right in there, 3-1. Farrell, the Red Sox third manager in as many seasons. Francona, Valentine, and now Farrell. Francona had an 8-year run. Took something off that one on 3-1 and hit the inside corner, so that's going to release the runners. 3-2 and 2 outs.
Well, this is confidence in your off-speed stuff. I mean, this is that tight little cut slider type pitch that Buchholz has thrown so well. And he goes ahead and breaks it out there. That's how much confidence he has that he can get it over, and he did, even though it was borderline at best.
They'll do it again. Runners go, 3-2. High fly ball, right center. Ellsbury makes the call and the catch as Buchholz works out of trouble. No runs a hit, and 2 men left. Let's go to the 8th. Red Sox up 6. Results will be revealed in the post-game show. Clay Buchholz could be a candidate. Well, he's a candidate for sure, but he could be a winner.
And his night is done. The handshakes are out. The joking starts to happen. Nothing like that feeling, Michael. You had a good start. You got a lead. You know you're done. Your night is done. Kind of let your guard down. Game face comes down. And feel good about it. Lost his last 5. He was 0-5 to end last year. It looks like that streak's going to end. Start a new one this year.
Check swing. Did he go? No, he did not, said Mike DeMuro. Hyundai scoreboard at 7-1 Boston. 1 out into the first or into the second inning. Did he go? Close. Probably helped. And the Yankees had to get 23 outs out of the bullpen. And Adam Warren is saving the bullpen right now. And has not pitched that poorly. He did give up 2 inherited runners in the 3rd inning, which hurt. Then he gave up a run in the 6th inning, and he's eating a lot of innings and outs for this team.
Well, he really has, and one of the keys is he hasn't walked anybody. He's thrown strikes. Yeah, he's given up 5 hits. Hey. Case in point, right there. I mean, he's in attack mode. He's not afraid of contact. He's shown good stuff. See Cervelli setting up on the outside corner. Dots the eye right there. No argument.
Count 0-1 to Ellsbury. And a strike.
See how he goes about Ellsbury. Tough lefty. You got a finish pitch right here. See if he goes back to that changeup. He does. It's a little low, but he's thrown several changeups. Most of them have been very good. Got burned on one on a wall ball. But you see, 51 strikes, 28 balls on 79 pitches.
Grounded to short. Nunez. And what Warren is doing, maybe pitching himself into a position if, say, Kuroda has to miss the start because of the finger. Well, he's lined up perfectly, and he's stretched out. But the Yankees are hoping that's not the case, not because of Warren, but they need Kuroda.
That's an excellent point. You know, if you're looking for a replacement, if you need one, here he is. See Nava there with a good night, 2 for 3, including a hit by pitch.
Now, there are other ways they could play that as well, because due to start on Saturday at Scranton Wilkes-Barre is Sean Kelly getting ready. Is Phil Hughes. And he's one start away from being ready. So if need be, the next time Kuroda would pitch, which would be Monday in Cleveland, they could just hold Hughes back and not have him pitch Saturday. So, again, getting ahead of ourselves, not quite sure what the deal is with Kuroda. They said he has a middle finger contusion, and they were sending him for x-rays. He suffered that in the second inning. The 2-0. 3-0. He's the guy who has to figure it all out. So Nava works a walk. And Rothschild will give Kelly a little more time to warm up. All right, let's keep playing that number game. You see Kelly warming up with 27. Who do you think?
I'm sure that, I think Graham Lloyd.
Really? Okay.
But that's just a teammate of mine. But who do you give me the better?
I think Bob Wickman.
Oh, Bob Wickman. That's true. Bob Wickman. Excellent.
Now this one, who
Excellent.
do you think?
43. Well, I got to think Jeff Nelson,
Yeah,
right?
Jeff Nelson.
Some guys, try to take over a number. Think about Robinson Cano, 24. Who do you think about?
Willie Mays.
Willie Mays, but former Yankee player. Number 24. I think Robinson Cano. I think he owns that number now.
Yeah. Now, growing up, I'm going to say a name that you might not remember because you were in Kansas City then. Otto Velez.
That's a blast.
That was a long time ago. That's a great number. And Cano wears it because it's the flip-flop of Jackie Robinson at 42. That one's driven to right field. Backing up is Ichiro, and he makes a play to retire Pedroia. No runs, no hits, and one man left. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Yankees are down by 6. Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry bring you tonight's highlights, including updates from around baseball. Plus, Meredith Morakovitz gets the reaction from the clubhouse. It's all coming up on the postgame, only on Yes. Hyundai scoreboard 7-1 Red Sox. And Andrew Miller will take over for Clay Buchholz. And we saw him on opening day. Like everybody in that Red Sox bullpen, throws hard. He doesn't throw as many strikes as everybody else, but he throws hard. Then Francisco pinch hits for Ichiro. And takes low. Francisco gets plunked. Never a great night to be hit. This is definitely not a night to be hit.
This is not a night, and you talk about a kick in the you-know-what. You're going to feel that tomorrow. 97.
So Francisco at first, and that's going to bring up Cano. Cano was the only position player on opening day for the Yankees that started on opening day in 2012. And that's the first time for the Yankees to have just one position player go back-to-back since 1959 and 60 at the same position. Because Gardner started in left field last year and started in center field this time, but at the same position, it's been that many years, 59, 60. Wow. Cano lost one to center field, and Ellsbury makes the play. Let's get an update from Bob Lorenz back in the studio. Bob? So each team has won. Orioles won on opening day, and the Rays come back to win in the second game. Andrew Miller is done as John Farrell signals to the bullpen. We'll be back. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Kia. To learn more, visit kia.com. By Kettle One. Gentlemen, this is vodka. Please drink responsibly. And by Honda. Get a great deal during the really big spring event now at your Honda dealer. Well, they had a crowd of 40,216 here at the stadium. Not many of them have remained. Cold night and a cold Yankee offense. And that is a recipe for early exit. As Alfredo Aceves gets the call out of the bullpen.
Very unusual year last year for Alfredo. 2-10 record, but he did have 25 saves.
And he'll deal to Euclid. There's a strike. It seemed as if Aceves and Bobby Valentine weren't quite on the same wavelength.
Yeah, it was an explosive situation last year for those two guys.
Right back up the middle and through for a base hit for Euclid. His second hit of the night.
Well, Euclid off to a good start. Right back up the box. Looks like Alfredo Aceves got a piece of it, but not enough.
Aceves didn't automatically click with John Farrell either. In spring training, he was throwing a live BP session and wasn't really throwing. He was just throwing lollipops up there, and they got into it with each other. Farrell was not happy. But here is Aceves still on the team. There's a strike.
Well, Aceves has got a good arm. He's got some value. So, you know, that's not a type of arm you just give up on. Said he was closer for the Sox last year and actually did a really good job for them through a better part of the season.
Hafner fouls it away. Count 0-2. Hafner is the Yankee offense tonight with his home run in the fourth inning.
Diehards hanging in there. Almost looked like me there, Michael, and David Wells' perfect game.
Yep, just peeking out. The 0-2. Dribbled slowly in front of the plate. Saltalamacchia will make the out at first as the runners move up. And that brings up Vernon Wells. Aceves is a workhorse. Since 2009, he leads All-American League relievers with 269 and 2/3 innings. Vernon Wells wraps one to left field. It's deep. That ball is gone. A 3-run home run for Vernon Wells, and the Yankees are right back in it. It is 7-4 Red Sox. Third hit of the night for Vernon Wells.
Trying to go away, and that ball is just right in his wheelhouse. Middle end, belt high, belted. Second row, line drive. Good Wells, short and quick, through the ball. Definitely has carried over his spring training numbers. That's what the Yankees saw. I mean, a lot of talk about Vernon Wells in his last couple of years and the numbers, and people in the sabermetrics community threw their arms up with Vernon Wells and the numbers. Well, the reason the Yankees got him is because they think he's healthy again. And that bat speed suggests that maybe they're right.
One to Overbay. 1-2.
He's always been a great fastball hitter. Anything on the inner half of the plate. Lightning quick.
Missed outside. Overbay 1 for 3 today. Grounded up the middle. Iglesias is there. And that will do it. But Vernon Wells has breathed some life into this game. Crushes a 3-run home run. Low line drive into the left field seats. 7-4 Sox. We're back here at the stadium, and we go to the 9th inning. It's 7-4. Red Sox over the Yankees. And Sean Kelly, the new pitcher for the Yanks. We have been scolded on Twitter, David, for the number 24 faux pas. How could we not think of Constantino Martinez?
Grantino, one of my favorite teammates of all time, without a doubt. Tino was great. I love Tino. But Tino, I think Robbie owns 24, though. I think we're right on that right now. I mean, Robbie's not going anywhere. But Tino, you were great. Great teammate.
And also there's some confusion about that stat we gave about 6 Yankee players making their debut. And that's their debut on opening day, not necessarily in the lineup, because Hafner pinch hit and Overbay pinch hit. So that would make 6 Yankees that made their debut on opening day, not the opening day starting lineup. Mariano Rivera getting some work in. Two. Strike 3. Napoli down looking.
And the other closer, Hanrahan, up just in case. Well, more than just in case, with a 3-run lead. Should mention also, Michael, you know, since it's a generational thing, that's what we love about the Yankees and playing the numbers game. But Bullet Bob Turley, number 19, recently passed away. Great pitcher.
Won the MVP in the World Series in 1958.
Sympathies go out to his family. Love talking to him at Old Timers Day.
There's Bullet Bob. And the Yankees had a moment of silence here at the stadium on opening day for Bob Turley.
It's the beauty of these two franchises. They're really defined by their generations, such long history.
Count 3-1. That one is driven deep to right center. Drifting back is Gardner, and he makes the play for the second out. And here is Will Middlebrooks. Count 2-0. And the count 2-1.
It's going to be interesting to see how Middlebrooks adjusts this year. You know, second time around, pitchers sort of got to look at him last year. You can see he's off the plate a little bit. Kind of open stance. He's got a powerful swing. Generates some good bat speed. It's going to be interesting to see if he can cover the plate on the outside part. He starts to get a steady dose of breaking balls from right-handers. It's going to be interesting to see how he adjusts this year. We've seen him be quick on the inner half, but you can see he's got a ways to reach to get to the outside corner. See Kelly with his good stuff on the away. See what happens.
Grounded foul.
Obviously, Middlebrooks the reason that Youkilis was traded last year. This is the future for the Red Sox, and Kevin Youkilis was so popular up in Boston. He's now playing third base for the Yankees.
Check swing, and he did not go, so Middlebrooks works a walk.
Victorino's had a solid night again, 2 for 4 with a ribby. Another 2-out RBI early in this game. He's mixed in a stolen base tonight as well. So popular in Philadelphia all those years on those great Philly teams. Great presence in the clubhouse, the Flying Hawaiian. Red Sox took a chance, gave him a multi-year deal.
One, 2-1.
But you kind of get the sense, Michael, the Red Sox, after that big trade that we've talked about so much last year, clearing the decks, that they focused on not only talent but character guys they brought in. Napoli, Victorino.
Hit sharply to Nunez, and it caroms off Nunez and goes into short center. Middlebrooks is at third. Going to second is Victorino, and the Red Sox have runners on second and third with 2 outs.
Big hop. This ball smoked off the bat first off, and no leather. Right up the arm. Not even the heel of the glove. It's all skin. Ricocheted into center field. Victorino's got wheels enough to make it all the way to second. Tough air. The ball's hit hard.
And here's Jackie Bradley Jr. Count 1-0. Grounded to second. Cano. That will do it as Kelly works a scoreless 9th inning. Do the Yankees have a rally in their bones? They're coming up in the bottom of the 9th. Yankees are trailing this one 7-4. And it seems odd, David. I don't know if you're getting the same vibe. They're down by 3, but it seems like they have not been in this game. The 3-run home run by Wells certainly puts it within striking distance here at the bottom of the 9th.
We've got a chance, a couple of base runners here. At least you put yourself in a position to force Boston to have their closer in, and here he is, Joel Hanrahan, and came over from Pittsburgh, and those are his numbers in Pittsburgh last year.
.36 out of 40 save chances converted by Hanrahan last year. And there's Nunez taking a strike. Nunez and Cano both rocking that same headgear as Iglesias of the Red Sox. Almost gives them a speed skater look. Count 1-2. 2.
There it is. Can you hear me now? Hard to talk through that. I guess you could. Yeah, probably fine, right? Microfiber.
Yeah, I've never seen one like that. It seems like there's an extra piece around the mouth, and then he can talk through, I guess, webbing that's behind the piece. That's not the same one that Nunez has on. Nunez seems like it's one piece. The 2-2. Grounded through for a base hit. Nunez with his second hit of the night. So a good start for the Yankees in the bottom of the ninth.
Well, excellent plate coverage. Every pitch in this sequence was away. That's 96 miles an hour at the knees on the black. Nunez goes out and just punches it.
So that's going to bring up Cervelli. He came in to catch for Stewart after Bosch had pinch hit for Stewart, but Bosch struck out in that pinch hitting appearance in the 7th. And there's a strike. Yankees get another runner on. That brings a tying run to the plate. Brett Gardner's on deck. 1-1.
Get another runner on too, and you roll the lineup over. Get to the leadoff hitter.
Cervelli drove in the only 2 runs for the Yankees on opening day. There's a strike.
Yankees would love to get in a situation with Robinson Cano up in this inning with a chance.
People like hammerhand stuff, but the one thing you worry about with him sometimes is he doesn't throw strikes all the time. His stuff moves a lot. So he can give you a free pass every now and then and put you into pretty good hitting counts, but right now it's 2-2. Count 3-2. 97 miles an hour.
97, and as you said, Michael, with movement, sinking, heavy type fastballs.
Foul back.
Good swing. Turn it into an excellent at-bat from Cervelli here to push hand right to the limit. Had a really good swing at that pitch. Got to throw a strike on the mound.
Still 3-2.
Once again, Cervelli making him do it again.
Grounded to third. Nice stab there by Middlebrooks. He gets one on the first. Not in time. That was not an easy stab by Middlebrooks.
It was not. The classic in-betweener. Beat beaten straight down by Cervelli, and the in-between hop, and Middlebrooks takes the chance, comes and gets it. Cuts down the runner at second, and Pedroia with a good effort, but not enough time. Make sure you get one, and he did.
There's Gardner. Middlebrooks is in on the grass at third. Fastball strike, 0-1. Buchholz started for the Red Sox. He's in line to get the win. Andrew Miller, Alfredo Aceves, and now Joel Hanrahan. Buchholz went 7 innings. Chases 96 in the count, 0-2. Swing and a miss.
Overpowering. 97 miles an hour, late movement, no messing around. Late.
.97 for a strike to Ben Francisco. Pinch hit in the 8th inning for Suzuki and was hit by a pitch by Andrew Miller. Also scored a run. Yanks down to their final out. Now they're down to their final strike. One and two. David Ortiz on the DL. They hope to get him back 3rd week in April. Likes what he sees so far. 1-2. One with the breaking ball in the count now. 2-2. People keenly watching Hanrahan. It's a lot different closing games in the AL East for the Red Sox than closing for the Pittsburgh Pirates. 2-2. Driven out to right field. This should do it. Victorino is there, and the Red Sox win this game 7-4. In the 9th inning, no runs a hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. And we want you to stick around for the postgame show to find out who's tonight's Chevy player of the game. So the Yankees, 2 disappointing losses to open the season. 8-2 on opening day and 7-4 here in game 2. We'll come back, we'll wrap things up, and then the postgame with Bob, Jack, and Meredith.